Creative Travels is the International Performing Writers Association. We empower you to tell your story.
So I'm Lizzie Kelly and I'm competing in a slam competition at Riverside Theatre. I've never even thought about doing this before, and it just popped up, and I can just picture it all unfolding and how everything's gonna happen, and I'm so overwhelmed and excited. So my poem's about when I was travelling around Australia with my family and we were in this massive storm, and then the next day we found out about my grandpa being quite sick, and we flew home, and it was such a shock to see him all vulnerable, because he's someone who I just idolise as this invincible man. And yeah, so it's just about sort of nature versus mankind kind of thing. One of the worst storms of my life had Mum and Dad flustered, frantically trying to keep our canvas home from flapping away. They tied the trailer to the car, anchoring us to ourselves. My sister and I were loose floorboards. We wept and trembled in the car. Some days are like this. Some days are a smashed back window and dust seeping into our baking car, aircon broken, and 10 hours of driving ahead of us. Some days are Dad and I kayaking out to snorkel, mighty astronauts floating over fish and seagrass, and catching waves to shore, only to find out that now is the mating season of crocodiles, and there's a 4-metre female up the creek waiting for her suitors to come in from the sea. Some days are 500 kilometres of mud, bodies of water, corrugations, and the last people left on the Tanmai Plains, racing the cyclone and flooding rains on our tail. We won. Some days have Mum, famous for her fear, fingers clenched wide against the wheel, forcing us up gravel slopes steeper than Uluru. The view, worth it. But then some days are like this. Backed into the dunes, hiding from the winds, claustrophobia blossomed. Each flash of lightning struck a trembling into my bones. One more gust and the wind would snatch us up and spew us down. The sand dunes craved to collapse upon us the way the boisterous black waves slammed against the beach. Fear. Deep and true. Then something worse. A phone call like a flare shot straight into the sky. Dad hung up. We've got to go home. Pa's sick. Pa is the chief of our family, a man to fear, 80 and still working hands-on at his cattle farm, shooting rabbits, trenching cows and lighting control fires to show off to the grandkids. We watch like moths. We wake to calves at our windows, the sun drenching Pa's living room. Then in a central tradition, a ride in the back of the ute to overgrown paddocks. Pa is the centre of energy, the controlling force of our surrounds until now. He could tighten my chest quicker than the lightning outside, and he was braver than tidal waves, and he was steadier than the constant howling wind. So of course I was winded when Dad said, Pa's sick. The flight to the hospital was the first time I'd been in a plane. What? Oh my God, we're in a plane. We're literally in the air. Everything's getting so little, so fast. Does that mean we're that little? No, it can't be. Up here we're giants, and the great dividing range is nothing to see. First time I'd seen the top of a cloud. First time I'd seen rolling waves reduced to white specks, and the first time I'd seen deserts pass by beneath me. First time I'd seen nature conquered by the feats of humanity. Pa would like it up here. As we approach the hospital, apprehension swells. Some days are like this. My Pa lying in a hospital bed, and I'm not allowed to kiss him lest I catch his death. All I get are 5 words. It's okay. I'll be okay. He has no strength to scoop me up into a crackling sawdust hug, and under a weight I cannot carry. Knees buckle. My cheeks are red and wet. Pa is fragile and small. A breeze could tear him apart on that storming hospital bed. A ripple could drown him. A volt could stop his heart. The first time that nature had conquered me.